understanding of biological systems. Okay, so the system biology, this particular field, it's relatively definitely a new terminology and a new field, relatively new terminology. It's not that it has come just in recent years or something. Theoretically, it was present definitely, but from practical point of view, a lot more of research in this particular field, or you can say it's not like it's a kind of an approach. You can say it's a kind of an approach that you are keeping when you want to understand the biological system. So I'll tell you that what is the conventional approach and what this system talks about. So, what do you mean by this terminology system? Okay, so it's nothing but it means a bunch of parts that are connected to one another, right? So, any system, when you say any system, so if you have a marine system, so you have many different types of your flora and fauna which are connected to each other. Then you have your abiotic systems which are connected to each other. So, all these things will be working together. So when you say our body is a system, right? So there are various different organs, there are various different, again, so every organ is having different functions. So everything is working together. You can't say that heart is independent of the other organs of our body. Can you say that? No. So it is like definitely it's an independent part, but still when it is working, they are connected to one another. So when there is an when your liver is affected, say for example in a disease, or say in some kind of an accident or anything, it will definitely have its effect on the other body parts also. It will definitely have its effect on the other organs also. So they are working together. So when one part is affected, the other part is definitely going to be getting affected. So that's what you understand by a system. So as I said, that you have something called as your mathematical systems theory. Okay, so mathematically also you want to create some kind of system to understand or to describe a system in means of mathematics. So you have a lot of analysis using your different types of algorithms that you would be able to do it. So that's what there are different modeling systems, or you can say there are different models which helps us to again understand these systems in a better way, and simulations. Okay, so nowadays using your machine learning or many other algorithms and many other tools, you have simulations of different things, right? So in some cases you must have seen simulations for experiments also, or many different things, right? So simulations everyone understands, right? So when you go for some 7D movie or something, you feel as if you are as a you are being seated in a aeroplane like thing in the cockpit, and then uh, you are just moving. You feel it. It's not that really you are doing it, but virtually you feel as if you are actually flying the plane. Or there can be different instances. You can like act as an astronaut or anything, and you feel as if you are in that particular system. So there are various different types of simulations that are available. So you want to simulate a particular system, and you want to see that when you are like how these different parts of a particular system are connected to each other. So if one of this part is being removed, or say one of this part is being affected by some or the other environmental factors, then how the other part of that particular system is acting. So that's how the simulations are going to help us. So there is something called as your dynamic system. Okay, so dynamic is something which is variable. Like it's not always stable, or you cannot say that it is always constant. Okay, so a system in an object in which variables of different kinds of interact and produce observable signals. Okay, so when they are these parts are there, these parts are not always constant. They are moving. They are variable. So in a derailable system, the current output value depends not only on the current input value, but also on the earlier values, right? So for example, say, let us consider our brain as a system. So we have learned in neurochemistry and all that how things happen. So um, um, say, like I'll give you an example. Say sometimes we connect a particular, say a song, okay, say a song to a particular situation. ऐसा हो सकता है कि, for example, like a person was driving a car and he was listening to a particular song when he met with an accident. So what happens is in his memory, that song is related to that bad experience, or you can say is related to that bad memory of his accident. So maybe that song is a very beautiful song. So like sometimes later, maybe a year or two later, in a very nice party or something, what happens is that song is being played. What, as a third person, if you don't know that person, what you will expect, that every person who is there in that party, because that song is so beautiful, everyone is going to enjoy the song, am I right? But what happens is that person who had met with an accident, so now as soon as he hears the song, there is a psychological effect on him, and he starts behaving very weird, and he becomes a little aggressive, and aggressive in the sense he becomes like uncomfortable, emotionally very weak, and then um, like he is suffering from an anxiety attack, you can say, right? So what happened here? The, yes, Vaishnavi. Okay. So what happened over here? That the current output, abhi ye situation mein what happened, so in this particular situation everything was going well, there was no other trigger for an anxiety attack for that particular person, am I right? Okay, an input kya tha? A very beautiful song. So what you expected, that yes, when this beautiful song is being played, the person, all the people are going to enjoy. But the actual output what came was not depending upon that input, it was depending upon the earlier experience of that person also, am I right? So that's what you called as a dynamic system. It's not only कि तुमने जो input दिया उसी के ऊपर ही तुम्हारा output होगा. So many times it happens that like a person becomes very or reacts in a very different manner as not expected, right? So because it's a dynamic system, our brain is a dynamic system, so it's not going to be dependent upon just that condition, just that particular time ki usme. So there are there could be many background things going on with that particular person. He must be suffering from some other, like he's going through a very bad time, and so even if you say something good, maybe he's not taking in that, or he is not in a position to take in that same zeal, or in that same uh, good manner, and so he overreacts, and maybe he understands or takes it in a bad manner, and has a bad output to that particular thing, right? So this is just an example of how systems work. So it's not direct. It's not a very easy mathematic equation कि तुमने ये डाला तो हमेशा यही मिलेगा, यही output मिलेगा. It's not that way. So that's how these are different things. So these are artificial dynamic systems that you can have, like your fighter planes, uh, your rockets, or say your cars and machines, different machines. Okay, so these are your dynamic systems which are running. Okay, so which will be having different moving parts and all. So similarly, you have many in when you say in biology will have the most dynamic systems. Okay, so even each and every organ will be acting as a system, and then completely a person or an animal is a dynamic system, right? The plants, they are animal dynamic systems. So we always say that doing research with biological systems is not as like we do it for chemistry and all, right? Because here, yeah, always you cannot expect the same results, right? Reproducibility and everything uh, it's not going to be the same every time, because these are dynamic systems. Every organism, every cell is a dynamic system, right? And there are so many, you can see over here, the biochemical reactions and everything, metabolic reactions going on, which are again, so again हम लोग क्या करते हैं, जैसे याद है when I had been talking about like I have shown you KEGG database. So if you remember in your last year, so I had shown you a pathway like glycogenesis or your glycolysis or your gluconeogenesis. So usually when we learn that pathway, we learn it as an individual pathway. We are not concerned that time like from where these substrates are coming, or whether that particular enzyme is involved in any other pathway or not, right? So we separate that particular biochemical pathway and we study. But does that, but is that how it happens, or how it's regulated in our body? No, definitely not, right? Because your that particular one pathway is going to be related to, or is going to be connected to 100 different pathways, and that's what you used to see in your KEGG database, that how every single analyte which is there in that particular pathway, how it is related or connected to some other different pathways, right? So that's how it becomes very complex. It's not a constant system. It's going to be dynamic. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये वाला product form हुआ तो दूसरा वाला product form होना ही है. ऐसा नहीं होता है. It can happen that that intermediate then because of the need, it may not continue in that same biochemical cycle, but that particular intermediate is going to be taken as a substrate from some for some other cycle, right? It may happen so. So that's what I'm trying to make you understand, that it's a dynamic system. Okay, our body is a dynamic system. So till now, when we started, or when we try studying biology, we follow a reductionist approach for studying the biology. So now, what do you mean by reductionist approach? So that's what I just gave you an example. कि हम जब glycolysis पढ़ते हैं, तो we try to make it as simple as possible for us. Okay, so when I am cutting the interactions, when I am cutting all the other connections with the other cycles, then definitely that glycolysis or gluconeogenesis cycle is very simple. Agreed or not? But but the same moment when I start connecting it to different cycles, then what happens? The entire system becomes very complex for us. Okay, so this simpler approach, this particular reductionist approach is what we have taken up to understand the nature of complex things. But so this was introduced by Descartes in part 5 of his discourses. So some 1637, like that years, बहुत साल पहले. So also known to be a basis for the well-developed areas of modern sciences like physics, chemistry, cell biology. So all these things we have been trying to do with the help of this reductionist approach. Okay, so uh, uh, so now you can say that was an old approach. Okay, so what we are now moving towards is a holistic approach. Holistic matlab as in whole. Okay, we want to see a particular system as a whole. We do not want to separate this part and study. Okay, because when we start separating this part, and it becomes very much different, it becomes very much difficult to connect these things later. ओके, तो हम देखते हैं कि ओके ग्लाइकोलिसिस में अरे ये चेंज हो गया, तो there is something different happening in Krebs cycle, or something different happening in some other cycle. Okay, so then it becomes confusing for us, how they are connected, how they are regulated with each other, right? So here, instead of dividing the different parts, we try to study all the components together. Okay, So holistic approach is a way to analyze all components and interactions within and among organisms. Okay, so सारी चीजें हम एक साथ जानने की कोशिश करते हैं. We try to study them together. I know you will be saying, okay, मैम फिर हम एक साथ कैसे पढ़ सकते हैं? Then it would be very difficult to interpret and all those things, right? So that's the reason why there are different tools. So that's what I'm saying, that there are different tools, there are different models which will help us in doing this thing. Okay, so that's what is going to be the new way of doing a research. So I'll just give you an example of this. So when we start say for example drug discovery and all, right? So drug discovery में क्या हो जाता है कि initially we will be having so maybe 100 different products which were found to be efficient against a particular disease or so, or say for example अभी COVID-19 का ही हम example ले लेते. So today we are trying to find out drug, we are trying to find out vaccines for this particular disease, and yes, when we started with it, there were hundreds of different molecules that were found to be efficient. Yes or no? But what happened after some months? We are having only handful of them which are found to be effective, or still you can say we are very not sure of its adverse effects, if any, right? We are not very sure of why this thing is happening, because our approach towards development of such kind of drugs or medicinal drugs is like we are going through this traditional method or reductionist method that we were talking about. So had we had gone for holistic approach from the starting itself, then it would have saved, yes, it would save 70% of our time in seeing whether exactly using such kind of simulations and everything, we can see what is the effect of that particular molecule in the entire system. Okay, so system is our body. So in our entire body system, whether that particular molecule has any effect or not, whether it is efficient against coronavirus, and whether it is able to, or is any having any kind of adverse effect in our body. So that's a general approach towards, like I can say, it's an application of your system biology. So it gives us a better understanding and helps us in interpretation of data, thereby making more accurate predictions, say about your human immune system's responses. So just an example is your human system's response. There are many different systems as I have been talking about. So again, as a whole, you can say that yes, definitely. Again, the immune system is not going to be a different, uh, like a different system as such. It is going to be related to all other systems of our body. So collective data gives a broader picture of how an organism operates, how these systems are affected by different things, and then other biological processes which respond to an particular approach. So you can have approach can be done via clinical trials, or you can go for system biology. So so clinical trials is where directly you are using the human beings and human beings, or say your animals, to check what is the effect of any molecule, or to check any kind of, not only just a molecule, maybe an environment on a particular person or in a particular animal, right? But yes, definitely there are a lot of ethical issues related to that, and we may not like to directly involve any animal or any human beings for that sake, until and unless we are very sure that it's not very dangerous, or it's not going to affect the life of that particular person or the animal, right? So that's the reason why many of the people who are doing these research, they are not willing to accept this clinical trials, and hence we will be moving on to systems biology, where again we will be using the same holistic approach as we go for your clinical trials, but here we will be not using the exact system, but trying to replicate that system by simulation, or you can say in a virtual mode. Yes, we are now moving towards everything virtual. So definitely, even the system biology is going to be dependent upon something virtual, something that is not real, but is going to mimic the real conditions, is going to mimic the real things, okay, and try to see and try to experience. So once you are sure that, okay, fine, maybe it's not very dangerous, or it's not affecting the life of the particular person or animals, then you may move on to clinical trials. So the last approach that I was talking about is both combining together your system biology and your clinical trials. That will definitely give us the or can be the best approach towards this holistic thing, okay, for understanding the systems better. So what's exactly system biology? I hope I have been able to give you some idea about it, like what has been happening. So what happened is, like, biology went from top down from the last 50 years. So what we are trying to see is, we are not trying to see what is happening in a cell altogether. We are trying to see, okay, which is the protein, or we are trying to see which is the single gene, one gene which is being responsible. But it's not always the effect of one gene or a single one protein in any of the systems. So that's what we have been trying to do in the last some years. So that's what we need to change it. So a huge amount of data is being produced, and the challenge becomes is how to put the things together. I know that there are these 100 proteins which are found in this particular cell, but I don't know how these 100 proteins are related to each other. Definitely they would be related to each other. They have to be related to each other so that the entire cell works, right? So putting them together is the major task, okay? So system biology attempts sorry. So the system biology will attempt to create predictive models of such cells, or an organ, or a biochemical process, or a complete organism, right? So I was just talking about what are simulations, what are model systems, right? But these are not actual models, or these are not live models, but they are your virtual models. They are simulated models, okay? So these will be created, and then we try to study the processes in details in a holistic approach, okay? So it's an approach in biomedical research to understand the larger picture, be it at the level of organism or a tissue or a cell, by putting its pieces together. It's in stark contrast to decades of reductionist biology, which involves taking the pieces apart. Okay, so there are many different definitions that you will come across. So I'm not saying, so that's the reason why I'm trying to discuss every possible definition that is there for system biology. You can take up anything. So the main thing is you understand what it is, okay? So system biology aims at understanding biological complexity by unbiased measurements of as many as possible parameters without having any hypothesis. See, what happens is, whenever, like, what was our earlier approach is कि जब भी हम experiment करना चालू करते हैं, या when we take up a project, we always first have an hypothesis कि ये हो सकता है, right? कि मुझे इस experiment से या ये project से I want to show whether this particular thing is happening or it's not happening. Hypothesis everyone knows, right? Null hypothesis. Say for example, say I'm saying that your smoking is related to lung cancer, right? So मैं project चालू करने से पहले I am just concentrating only on that particular part, that whether smoking is connected to lung cancer or not. So my null hypothesis is it's not connected, and so I want to prove, I want to prove through the data whether null hypothesis is accepted, or the alternate hypothesis which says that yes, smoking is going to be a part or is a factor affecting the lung cancer or not, right? So now what happens because of this? Our approach is concentrating on smoking. Yes, but now tell me in general, अभी just भूल जाओ तुम्हारा hypothesis के बारे में भूल जाओ and just see in general, is it always true that every person who is smoking who has cancer, lung cancer? No, that's not true. Am I right? So that means there are other factors which are going to be which are going to have an effect on this particular incident. Am I right? Okay. So, but in this particular study, when I am doing or I am going for a reductionist approach, I try to blindly have a bias only towards my hypothesis. Right? I am trying to neglect all the other factors which are going to be affecting this particular thing. Yes. So that's what is going to be like this is having a biasness. You can say that there is an biasness towards my approach. Yes. So this biasness has to be removed, and that is what your system biology tries to do. So what system biology tries to do? So let us see how a particular project has to be created. This was somewhere else, but because I was talking about this hypothesis thing, let me explain you this particular thing, that whenever we take up a project now, when you have in system biology, we are trying to move towards getting new knowledge. Yes, we are not trying to ponder upon the same things again and again. So you see a biological phenomena, so you are going from bottom to up. Earlier we used to come from top to bottom. Now we are going from bottom to up. तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं? यहाँ पे हम एक biological phenomena देखते हैं, वो biological phenomena के बारे में सारा data collect करते हैं. We try to understand every function, every interaction in taking place in that particular biological phenomena. Then develop mathematical models for that. Then we will design different types of in silico experiments, in vivo experiments, and while doing that, we are going to take up my hypothesis now. Now, this hypothesis is dependent upon the new data. Okay, dependent upon the new data that I am getting from my experiment. पहले हम क्या करते थे? Hypothesis create करते थे और वो hypothesis के बारे में हम data collect करते थे to prove whether your null hypothesis or your alternate hypothesis is right or wrong. Am I right? So there was always a bias. It's a natural human tendency कि अगर मैंने अगर so like, and in India, yes, definitely that's there in your mind. I really am very sad that you are not going for your project. It's a very, very important part of life or your this particular course. But I'll tell you what happens here is like जब भी एक hypothesis लेते हैं, there is a kind of an pressure on our mind कि हमें ये prove करना ही है, yes, smoking has an effect on lung cancer. Okay, so when we try collecting data, even the sample size or even the samples that we try to choose, we again have a bias towards that. Okay, we choose such kind of an data where, okay, we try to such kind of a data where, you know, your people who are having, who are smoking are having cancer. So there is a biasness towards the data also when we have already fixed the hypothesis. But here in system biology, the working is very much different. Okay. So first we try to get new data depending upon any kind of your biological phenomena. And from that data, we will create a new hypothesis. And so इस approach से हमें क्या मिलता है? इस approach से हमें new knowledge मिलता है. We are not pondering the same knowledge over and over, but here we will be talking about something new. We will be trying to find out something new. Okay. So you can have different types of measurements, like from genetic level, you'll have genomes, you have transcriptomes, proteome, metabolome, and when you talk about physiological levels, like what symptoms and everything, so pulse, blood pressure, pain, fever, all these things. So data collection is not a big deal. Again, I'm saying it's not a very big deal. but how do you do it, when do you do it, and what is the approach that you are following is very, very important. Okay, so you have something called as your system biology triangle. Okay, so you have biology, you have technology, you have computing. Okay, so it's a complete approach. So biological information, whatever new knowledge we are trying to develop, is by understanding all these things. So you try to understand the biology by using different technologies which are available today, and day by day there is definitely an improvement in all the technologies. And using your bioinformatics and computing knowledge, we try to develop models which will help us in understanding this biological phenomena in a better way and develop better information. So it does explain the biological phenomena not on a gene basis, but through the interaction of all the cellular and biochemical components in a cell or an organism. Okay, so all the interactions, everything is going to be considered. So it identifies the elements, like you have the genes, you have the molecules, you have the cells, ascertains their relationships, and involve new dynamic computing modeling programs which integrate the info and allow to simulate entire organisms based on their biological components. Okay, that's what I have been able, like I'm trying to explain you in all these slides. Yes, students, have you at least understood what I'm trying to say? Okay, kya hota hai system biology? Have you able to understand what is this new approach like? Yes, quick yes or no, everyone. Anyone having any doubt in this? Because first you need to understand the approach, then only you will be able to understand that how do we do it, or the models and everything. Okay, so I've been taking a lot of time in making you understand, because this the main thing that you first have to form. So now going on to the scope of system biology, like how it is going to be effective in. So like one thing I have already been talking about is like development of drugs and all. So, but this technique, or this entire system biology, which have a lot of techniques and models development, so they have a broad and different set of techniques may be deployed for each research target. So what you are researching, that will definitely talk about which areas or which techniques you need to adopt. So it requires collective efforts from multiple research areas, like your mol bio, high precision measurement, computer science, control theory, other scientific and engineering fields. Yes, so it's not that if you are a biologist, you are going to only think about the biology of a cell. No, it's not that way. You need to know the chemistry also, you need to know the physics also, you need to know the engineering also, computer science also. So again, even the knowledge has to be holistic. Yes, you can't restrict your thinking, you can't restrict your knowledge only on one particular part. So when you want to go in depth, you have to have collective effect. So it's not again that one person needs to have the entire knowledge. Yes, you can have different people, different specialized people from different areas who can come together, collaborate together, and then develop such kind of beautiful models, which would be definitely helpful. So it's a new field in biology that aims at system level understanding of biological systems, to understand biological systems grounded at the molecular level as a consistent framework of knowledge, and to investigate the behavior and relationship of all the elements in the particular biological system. So you can see over here, this is just an example. Like जब हम healthcare system की बात करते हैं, तो I cannot just only talk about doctors. Yes. So when I have an healthcare system, yes, your hospitals are equally important. How the hospital, because एक hospital एकदम ही मतलब उसमें कुछ भी नहीं है, you don't have any facilities in that, but the doctors are very good. Still, will you like prefer to go to that hospital? Obviously not, right? The doctors have to be good, and the facilities that that particular hospital gives, that also has to be good. Even insurance companies, like there are definitely many different hospitals who have tie up with different types of your insurance companies directly, so that you can have your cashless treatments in these hospitals. You will prefer that. So these kind of your things are also going to be dependent whether you choose that hospital for the treatment or not. Yes. So how the government, whether it is having any connections with the government, and the nurses. Yes, definitely. Again, the nurses and also the patient. What kind of patients are coming in a particular hospital? So everything holistically you are going to think about, and then choose a particular hospital whether you want to go for a treatment in that place or not. Yes. So similarly, in biological system also you have DNA, but DNA is going to be related. It's not only that DNA is independent of each other and can work or take care of the entire working of the biological system. No, definitely it is again, yes, DNA से ही proteins बनता है, but again proteins are also very important for making or for the processes of transcription and translation, which is required for the information that is there in the DNA to be useful, right? So like transcription factors, they are again proteins. अगर transcription factors जाके bind ही नहीं होंगे, so there would not be any initiation of transcription and there would not be any RNA. So again they are interlinked with each other. Each and molecule. So ये जो तुम connections देख रहे हो, your star-like things, your hexagon things, what you are seeing, it's like showing you the connections. So for example, DNA is connected to RNA, it is connected to every other biomolecule, it's connected to the cell, it's connected to proteins, it's connected to all the networks, right? So that's why each and every, so यहाँ पे भी जैसे हमने देखा, doctor भी to the patient, it's connected to the hospital, it's connected to the insurance companies, to the government, to the, so every element in a particular system biology is going to be connected to each other. Yes, it's going to be connected to each other. So that's what is your system biology. So this is how your system studies could be done. You have different genetic modifications, quantitative analyticals, and your models. So from there, informatics like your databases, which has earlier informations, you have different types of modeling tools, then visualization systems, visualization tools for the proteins and other 3D molecules, and different types of your system studies like concept of the modeling or creating a model, synthesis, analysis. All these things have to come together so that you understand your system biology. Okay. So the history, as I said, that it's not very new and it's not very old. Yes, the terminology was coined at 1960s. However, it was very theoretical. People and experimental biologists diverged. Like they did not want to follow this approach, this holistic approach that system biology has been talking about. But there was a renaissance in 1990s. Renaissance means there was a change in the thinking. Okay, so the biology became cross-disciplinary, information-based. Yes, the databases and with the advent and with the development of bioinformatics, a lot of information-based studies started to be taken up, and all these tools, everything were starting to be used, and high throughout science was being talked about. So system biology view. So as I was talking about earlier, that पहले क्या होता था? You went from the large scale organization, you went down, top to bottom. So where you are not universality के जगह पे, you had to do your organism specificity. You wanted to think, or you wanted to separate these elements and then start to study. But when you talk about your system biology, you are connecting each and everything and having an universality. You are having an you want to study this entire life's complex pyramid, which you say. So this is what is about your system biology. This I have already been talking about, like how your projects and everything, the knowledge generation by system biology is going to take place. So we were seeing that there are different levels of measurement in the system approach. So you have the genomics, where we are going to be concentrating on DNA. You have transcriptomics, where we have to concentrate on mRNA. You have the proteomics, where you have proteins, you have functional proteomics and all. There are so many different ways. You have metabolomics, where metabolites are going to be learned. So each and everything again will have like cell level, then tissue level, then organ level, then organism level. So this entire thing together, when we are going to study, that's what is going to be your system biology. Okay. So that's an interaction between various levels of biological system. Yes. So this is how you go about. So every higher level controls the gene, whatever your expression. Every level is going to be having interaction. They are going to be involved in the cell signaling and all these things. So there is these interactions that has been talking about in every level is what you are going to study in your system biology. That's what is the approach for your system biology. Is these things very much clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.